Says Halacha Yomi. We're up to page 352. We said yesterday that something that is subject to debate, right? If it's permitted or not, you're still allowed to benefit from it on Shabbat. If somebody did Chilul Shabbat, right? For example, a person took a raw piece of meat and he grilled it on Shabbat. He broke Shabbat. I cannot eat that piece of meat, and he nor can he. The sages made a decree: you cannot benefit from Shabbat desecration, right? Fine. But what if he heated up a liquid that was cooked before Shabbat? Matzah ball soup that was cooked before Shabbat. Halachically speaking, we do not heat up matzah ball soup that was in the fridge overnight to put it back on the plata. We do not do that. Halachically, we're strict for the opinion of the Rishonim who say that that's considered cooking to reheat liquids on Shabbat. However, let's say somebody did it. Somebody broke the halacha and they heated up the matzah ball soup on Shabbat. Now can we eat it? Yes, we can eat it. No, even on Shabbat we're allowed to eat it. Why? Since there's the debate if this is allowed or not allowed, even though we're strict and we don't do it, since there's an opinion like the Rambam, since there's an opinion like the Rashba, since there's opinions who say this permitted to heat up liquids because they were cooked before Shabbat, so it's not considered raw anymore. So therefore, when somebody did it already, you're allowed to benefit from it. I'll give you a case. There was a case one time that somebody someone asked, he said, Rabbi, what do I do? Can I eat my osvo? He said, what happened to your cholent? He says, I came home and I saw that my wife told me that someone in the family opened the cholent in the morning, saw it was belly. It was white. It's no good. It needs to be crescent, it needs to be red, it has to be a nice color. So they went, they opened a can of tomato sauce and they put it in cholent on Shabbat. Because, well, listen, the guests are coming, it has to be proper. So they asked me, Rabbi, can we eat this cholent now? Can we eat this osvo now? It's okay, they broke Shabbat. You're not allowed to cook tomato sauce on Shabbat and put it in the osvo on Shabbat. What is this?
Liquid.
So we told him, what's the question you should ask? Is tomato sauce cooked before it's put in the can? 100%. So therefore what? Even though liquids we do not reheat on Shabbat, but it's a debate, and since there's opinions who say it's permitted, we're allowed to benefit from it afterwards. You're right, we shouldn't do it. But if somebody did it already, you can't say the cholent is a sur, because there's a debate if it's not allowed or not. Okay, good. That's a classic example. Okay, what about if somebody has a pot of food, right? There's halacha. You're not allowed to leave a pot of food on an open flame. You have to have either blech or plata, right? A sheet of metal on top of the gas, or a electric hot plate plugged into the wall, and then that's how you can leave food to heat up before Shabbat. But you cannot leave a pot on an open gas, open stove top on Shabbat and say, I'll take the food from there afterwards. You might come play with the fire, right? That's a sur. So let's say somebody did it. You went to somebody's house, and you see that they don't know these halachot. How they heat up the fish, how they keep the food warm for Shabbat, they left it on the gas open on Shabbat. Okay, now, they didn't break any Shabbat desecration with cooking. They put all the food before Shabbat. They didn't put the food on Shabbat, but they put it before without any blech, without any plata. Is that allowed or not? They're allowed to eat that food. A pot of food that was placed directly on a fire, erev Shabbat, and at the onset of Shabbat was only partially cooked, and yet was not yet edible, may not be eaten on Shabbat, even if it was done so by accident. So you see that a person who did this, who did it on purpose, who didn't care to leave the food food on a covered fire, there he's not allowed. He's not allowed to benefit from the food on Shabbat, even if it was done by accident. However, it was permitted to go and to use it for others on Shabbat. If the food was placed there on purpose, he knew that the food wouldn't become edible before the onset of Shabbat, the food may not be used by anyone on Shabbat. So there's a stringency. This case is stringent, actually, because the food was not cooked whatsoever. Number 41. There's cases where you may be lenient. For example, a person doesn't have any other food to eat, so then he may be able to eat this food. The Chachamim did not say you have to starve on Shabbat. B, if the food was edible technically before Shabbat, so then you don't have to be strict. And also, if you leave food for the daytime, in extenuating circumstances, it may be eaten during the day, even if one has other food. So you can't eat it that night, but you'll be allowed to eat it during the day. Let's say somebody did border, 44, right? Border is separating bad from good on Shabbat. So when someone had a potato salad, right? How do you say potato salad? Olivier? Olivier, yeah. So he has Olivier, but it has pickles. He doesn't like pickles. I can't eat it like that. So what does he do? He wants to take out all the pickles and then eat the potato salad. You're not allowed to do that. It's borer. So let's say somebody did it. Somebody did it already. Can we benefit from this? He did Shabbat desecration. One who purposely separated ochel from psolet in the prohibited manner, or even psolet from ochel in order to eat ochel right away, even though there are opinions who permit one to eat the food on Shabbat, one should be stringent and only eat the food after Shabbat. In this case, the food may be eaten after Shabbat by the person who did it, and even if the item was separated and mixed back into the mixture, then you'll be allowed to use it because it's not considered benefiting. Let's say somebody told you, hey, it's not allowed. What are you doing separating pickles? Oh, I'm sorry, he puts all the pickles back inside. You're allowed to eat the potato salad, and it's not considered benefiting from Shabbat desecration. Let's say somebody has an osvo stain. You know, some people, I know, they eat, and the falls on their shirt. So, oh my gosh, it's a stain. He takes seltzer, he takes water, he cleans it right away. Oh, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to do laundry on Shabbat. And spot cleaning is also part of laundry. So it's melaben. Someone who purposely soaked his clothes on Shabbat to clean it, with the intention to clean it, may not wear the garment even after Shabbat. Even after Shabbat, during the week. What happens? On Shabbat, he changes his shirt, and he puts a new shirt, and the old shirt that he got dirty, he sits there and he scrubs it, he cleans it, he goes and he launders it. He hangs it up to dry. Now, even on Tuesday, he cannot wear it. Why? What's the problem? Because now I'm benefiting from Shabbat desecration because I laundered it. I laundered it on Shabbat. What do I got to do? So then I have to go and I wash it again during the week, or I have to soil it again and then clean it, and then it will be able to be permitted because once I wash it again, it's considered that I washed it during the week and I didn't wash it from Shabbat. Rezegi, cutting vegetables very finely for chai salad, right? For Bukhari salad, for Israeli salad. So I want to cut the vegetables, the tomatoes and the cucumbers. We know Halacha says you're not allowed to chop it up more than half hour in advance because it's considered grinding. So somebody, he made Israeli salad 10 o'clock in the morning and we only sit to eat 1. So that's not allowed. He broke Shabbat. He did grinding and he did it too early. So what happens? Can we eat the salad? One who inadvertently finally chopped more vegetables than one needed for his meal may eat the remaining vegetables later in meal. However, 47. As explained, it is not permitted to finally chop vegetables more than half an hour before a meal. If one inadvertently chopped vegetables prior to this time, the vegetables are permitted to be eaten, even though one should have not additionally done so. Why? Because there's a mahloket also. There's a mahloket over here. Some say that it doesn't apply by vegetables that could be eaten raw. So therefore, since there's a debate, you're allowed to benefit from it. So again, what do we see from here again and again? We see from here that every case of melachot depends on each melacha. You can't learn from one melacha to the other. Since there's so many opinions in each of the melachot, you have to know each case is case by case if it's permitted or forbidden to benefit from the melacha. We'll give one more case. What's another case? Let's say example, electricity, right? In Israel, many of the workers in the electric company are Jews. And when they're working on keeping the turbines going and keeping the electricity going, they're doing Halal Shabbat, no? So how can you benefit from electricity in Israel on Shabbat? If this electricity is run by people who are breaking Shabbat, and you're benefiting from electricity made on Shabbat. So Yekut Yosef explains. He says that since the melachot are being done really for what, there's reasons why you could be lenient. For example, they're giving electricity also for hospitals, right? If the electricity is not run for the hospital, how are they going to save lives? How are they going to? It's sakana nefashot. So since they're allowed to provide electricity for the hospital, so they're allowed to provide electricity for everybody. That's one reason. Another reason is that it's not definite fact that they're making electricity on Shabbat. The people who work at the electric company, if something happens, then they have to intervene and fix it. But sometimes everything's just running from before Shabbat, so and it's status quo and it runs by itself. So there's no maintenance they have to give necessarily. So therefore, it's not considered that they produced it on Shabbat. It was producing by itself. Okay. Let's say 54. It is prohibited to listen or to watch something that was recorded by a Jew on Shabbat. Right? In Israel, what happens? A lot of times they do news broadcast. They do news broadcasting, radio broadcasting. And they're Jews on Shabbat. So how can you do that? So it's prohibited to listen to and watch something that was recorded by a Jew on Shabbat. This is even the case if one left his radio on before Shabbat. This unfortunately applies to most radio or television stations in Israel. Even after Shabbat, one may not listen to such recordings. So you're listening, we're sitting Motzei Shabbat, you want to catch up on the news, and the news was aired on Shabbat, you can't watch it. You can't watch the program they put on Shabbat. Why? Because they made it on Shabbat, benefiting Shabbat desecration.